Okay guys, so I wanted to go over here before I get ready to put this thing under a knife and swap motors, everything. I wanted to go over the top 5 things that I love about my H23A1 motor and the top 5 things I hate. So ignore the giant grasshoppers that decided to commit suicide all over the front of my car. I can't take this thing out without bugs just attacking the hell out of me in it. But so basically this is an H23A1 for you guys that don't know, and this is the motor that came in the SI. So you have the S model, the SI model, and the H22 VTEC and the 4th gen Prelude model. And this motor was rated around 160 horsepower, give or take, on certain variants, and usually I believe it was around 145, 150 foot-pounds torque, or 135 foot-pounds. I'll find out and put it in here for sure to give you the numbers exactly what they were from the factory. It's been a little while since I went over them again. But what I wanted to say was the top 5 things that I love about the H23A1 is, honestly, if they're well taken care of, first and foremost is the reliability. Reliability on them, they're a great motor, honestly, if they are taken care of well, and if you get one that's been maintained. Number 2, as I want to say, is the sound. I absolutely love the way the H23 non-VTEC sound. The H23 non-VTEC sound. They sound, to me, just smooth and great, and have their own almost distinctive sound if you have a good exhaust with them, and everything's buttoned up well. So number 3 on there, I would have to say, is, and this is kind of a H series in particular thing anyways, so I guess you can count it for all H series, is the tilt, the way they kind of sit back in there. And that's kind of a Prelude thing too. The B20s did it in the 3rd gen and a few other things. But in the 4th gen, you can tell with the front motor mount and the way they kind of sit, they sit at a tilt for the low hood line, if you see there. So that's one of my favorite things, is that also. And then number 4 is going to be the torque. I love the way the motor responds, the torquiness, the way the butterfly plates open up. It just really is a very torquey motor. I mean, it can do a hell of a burnout easy, like, again, if you have a healthy one. And it is more balanced than my H22s, I believe, in the way the torque band is distributed through all the RPMs. And I just like the way that actually it just is just so smooth and fluid all the way through it. And number 5 would be, I really like, and I know it's nothing crazy, and mine's kind of old looking, I got a broken stud there, but I really like the valve cover. I know that sounds crazy, but it's something. It's kind of like that LS valve cover. It's kind of similar to the old B20s on the Prelude, 3rd gen Preludes. It's just a unique looking valve cover, fitting of that era and time of Honda for the non-VTEC motors. And I just truly, I just like it. I don't know, it's just classy looking, and it's classic looking at the same time, I guess you could say. And that would be my top 5 things that I like about the H23A1 motor. Now, moving on to the top 5 things I hate about the H23A1 motor is, number 1, the aftermarket support. There is not much aftermarket support for them at all out there. There really isn't a whole lot. You can use B-series cam gears, which is nice. You can find headers online, not really a lot of name brand big headers and stuff like that, and most of the work you got to do is going to have to be custom made, or basically was really designed for the H22, and you can fit it on here for some things, but there's not a whole lot of aftermarket support. Number 3 is burning oil. And I think that's H series things all the way, is they have a tendency to burn oil. Mine has bad valve seals starting up and it just burns through oil, and that's, you know, a lot of Honda motors do that, but definitely the H series seem to eat oil even when they're almost brand new healthy, from what I've heard back in the day. And I'm at 3 hopefully right now. I'm trying to remember, so if I mess this up I'll come in and edit it. Number 4, obviously no VTEC. You know, I was just saying how much I kind of do like it non VTEC the way it is and feels, but of course I'd love to have VTEC. I think the H22 is an awesome motor, but the H23, with the way the torque's set up and everything, and if it had VTEC on it, I just believe it would have been. You see a lot of people do the G series motor, technically I guess you'd call it. But I just think, you know, with VTEC it would have been awesome from the factory, well balanced in that, you know. And then I would say last but not least would be, honestly, I don't really have a 5th thing that I really hate about it, other than, you know, it's just, they're like, okay, let's say the 5th thing is, if I wanted to just stick SI, OEM SI, to find a replacement motor, it's hard to do. Like, even to find the JDM one, you know, or, you know, I believe there's people that do the F20Bs, or, you know, the non-VTEC in there and different things. But if I wanted to find another H23A1 or anything equivalent from any other country, and so they're just, a lot of people just junk them, or they're blown up and they're just not plentiful to find. So honestly, unless you're going to fully rebuild one, you're not going to find them like as easy as a JDM motor and just be like, oh, you know what, hey, I want to click and buy that and have it shipped to the door and put a new time belt water pump on it, tune up, and boom, drop it in. So that would kind of be, if I wasn't planning on doing a Euro R swap in this anyways, that would kind of be disappointing if I was like, hey, I want to keep it all original and I want to get another motor and block and head with a lot lower miles and a lot less abuse, let's say, if I had a very high mileage, and I wouldn't have that option. So I'd say that'd be probably the 5th thing right there that kind of sucks. But other than that, I'm happy with the motor. I love it. I do want to upgrade, you know, the Euro R. I've already bought an LSD transmission. That's something that I plan on doing, but the way it comes out of the box, still a great car, great motor, and I wish there was a little bit more support for it, because it'd be really fun to see what it can do. Now, there has been a few guys that have really pushed it, and you can search that, but it is a lot more expensive road in my opinion, and a lot more time consuming, because there's just not that much support out there for the H23 non-VTEC, and understandably so, you know, because you have the other options. But it is always cool to see someone take that underdog, or that motor that is not valued a lot from somebody, and truly just see what you can max it out at, and that's a lot of fun. There's a few guys doing that on the Prelude forum, so I suggest checking them out. All right, guys, that was just something I wanted to kind of go over, because I had some questions on it and why I'm doing the swap. Have a good one, YouTube.